It's the real sound. Can you leave her alone? It's the real sound of H-Town, 97.9 The Box, the Madd Hatta Morning Show. Before we start with Keke Palmer, he's over here negotiating with her so he can get his numbers back up because he got kicked off of Instagram.
It's not fair that his numbers got. I mean, it wasn't
he got
him.
kicked
It wasn't his
off.
fault. They
He
did
shouldn't
that
have been
to him.
stealing stuff from Keke Palmer, putting it up there. Keke might be responsible while you down from almost 100,000 to 5,000.
Wait a minute. He didn't tell me he was stealing.
Oh yeah, he's stealing all the time,
stealing
girl.
from me.
No.
Stealing your stuff and
I
everybody
can't
else's.
believe you can't come up with your own material.
No, I do got my own material on this one, but I do take other people's stuff that I truly like, and I truly like your stuff.
Well, see, that's not stealing. He's just trying to start a fight, and that's what's wrong with community.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Did you just turn against me?
I did.
This is my
Wait a minute.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
Because what he's talking about is showing love. And
Right.
to a young sister.
The
and
tables
brother.
have turned.
Oh yes, I finally got somebody that's halfway on my side. Let's see how this is.
As long as you know
Madd is
halfway, but you know
flabbergasted.
she's gonna be here for a minute before it's
I
all
know
these.
he gonna turn the
Gonna be
table.
my lady right here. All right, you know how the game go. All right, so first thing we got, what's the difference between a Mac and a pimp? Because on one of your videos you said that
yes.
you are a Mac and you are not a pimp.
Yeah. A pimp to me is all about dirty games. A pimp is not, I feel like a Mac is
Oh,
the one
stop.
that gets.
For those that don't know, Keke Palmer is in the building, actress and singer.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen. We just jumped right in and started talking. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes.
Cause it's family, you
Okay.
you just talk to
So
family.
I don't
like
want to be
that.
disrespectful though. I
Right.
need to know. I need to let the people know that a superstar is in the house.
Aw,
And no,
thank
J Mac, I'm not talking about you.
Let's get that clear. No, okay.
All right. So, difference between a Mac and a pimp.
Yeah. So to me, a pimp is somebody that has to like the pimp hand, all that thing. Like they have to come about things from a very like evil point of view. I feel like the pimp is just too dark. But the Mac, I feel like the Mac is just somebody that's just so sweet and got it going on so much that they just end up getting more than what they even need because they have just so much love going out.
So how does this? How do you put player into that as well?
Okay, player again is a form of a pimp, but a lower grade. So they're not. The player isn't doing all the cutthroat stuff that a pimp might do. He's not taking full advantage in the exploitive kind of sense.
Preach.
But the player is still being manipulative and lying to get what he wants. The pimp never lies, or she. The Mac never lies. The Mac doesn't have to lie. They're so real, so true that people say, "I really want to rock with you."
Did you go to Mac school or something?
I did.
I didn't know there was a formal school and training. She got like the definition down and
I'm
everything.
telling you because I know what I'm talking about.
Oh God.
You guys actually got my energy up. I was very groggy coming in.
Yeah,
But y'all gave me some light.
No, they really love you. We
do.
love you as well.
Oh, man.
I just feel like it's kind of funny to see you because it seems like we literally saw you from a kid to a grown woman.
It's so true.
But you know what? I'm kind of shocked by your freedom. And what I mean by that is, usually when people go to Hollywood, they have a tendency to really not express themselves. But when you are on the gram or anywhere else, you really express yourself. You will curse. And I'm like, man, I'm so surprised. At first it was shocking to me. Like, oh, man, what Keke doing? Then, third, fourth time, man, I really like the way she just expressed herself and keep it real like that. But for real, I do. I mean, because a lot of times it seems like Hollywood changes people, but you are so, I like to use, this is one of the most overused words, real.
Thank you
But
very
you
much.
seem
I
to be
appreciate
very
this.
genuine. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
really,
and I
really
really
do.
am. I really appreciate that. And honestly, I feel like so lucky in my generation to have an outlet like social media.
Yeah, it's true.
Because it really do allow you to show other sides of yourself that you may not get to show if you don't get a traditional role.
Right.
Or this hosting gig or this comedy sketch or, so it allowed me to show those different colors to myself. Because the reality is, I did get started as a kid and that kind of becomes, whatever the world first sees you as becomes the entirety of your brand.
Right.
But I'm not going to be a kid forever. So a brand of a child, of course I'm going to outgrow it.
Right.
So that takes time for people to get used to, or to
it
see and
did.
to understand. But, I am very genuine. I try to be nobody but myself, and my parents are a big part of why, I feel like I'm coming.
That's what I was getting ready to ask you. How do your parents accept, because it's hard for a father to see his baby is always his baby. Then one
Yes,
day
of course.
he sees his baby acting like a woman.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
hard transition for a parent. So how have they been embracing all the changes of Keke Palmer?
Well, my dad is a little bit more easier than my mom in terms of, letting me go kind of thing. My mom is just so overprotective, and my dad always has to tell my mom, like, Sharon, you raised her right. She knows what to do. She understands these things. And it was just so funny. I was talking to my digital guy, Lawrence, the other day, and I was looking at an old conversation between my mom and my dad, and there was a time where I was working with this guy out of New York, and all the outfits that I was wearing with him, he was styling me. I was always being very like extra, and it was just so dramatic. And it's not something you would necessarily think a dad would approve of or like.
Right.
And I'm reading the text message. My dad says she's been looking remarkably amazing. Yes. I love the looks that she's been given. You know, so my parents are very supportive of me being theatrical, entertaining, and having fun. They come from that same type of world. You know, both of my parents met in theater, so when it comes to the entertainment and me having fun and doing that kind of thing, they are very supportive.
Where's your freedom coming from? Like when I started seeing it, like I said at first, you're almost parental with it as well because we seen you from a child, but your freedom, like, man, she's just so free with her body, with what she says. Yeah. Where does all this come from?
I think it came from, you know, coming out of the Disney Channel and Nickelodeon world and that becoming such a major part of my brand. I really was just like, okay, I don't want to allow the corporation mindset to crush me down and not allow me to develop my own identity. Okay. You know, even though that is a part of my identity, that's why I could work with those corporations because I am a little bit of that too. But I also am a little bit of the girl from Chicago and a little bit of the girl that grew up in the industry and a little bit of the girl that grew up in LA. So I have all these different elements, and I was like, okay, I can express this and I can do it in my way and I can do it through this facet because like I said, social media is a free place to where you can actually entertain and create without anybody saying, no, don't do this or no, don't do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it just came from me feeling like boggled down for so long and then finally getting the opportunity to actually express these other facets of myself and saying, why not? You know, it's truly who I am, and, you know, I'd rather express it than somebody try to say, I saw Keke cursing and I couldn't believe it. It's like, no, I told you that I was cursing.
Right. No doubt.
You know what I mean?
Who, was your team the one that got you to start doing all the stuff you're doing on social media, or it just happens you're young and that's where everybody goes to express themselves and it just happened organically?
Yeah, it definitely was watching and seeing that, oh my gosh, and getting inspired. Seeing that other people, like, they're new, okay, if I'm thinking about somebody like DC Young Fly, someone like this.
Right.
Seeing that people were able to just really go for it and that was able, they were able to actually bring a career to themselves just from being genuine and true online. I was like, well, heck, why can't I do the same thing when I want an opportunity that somebody may not naturally think that I can do? You know, they might not naturally think that I want to do comedy, but I can show this. Or they might not think that I love to dance.
Right.
So I could put my dancing up there. And it really became a way where I could get feedback from my audience and see what they liked and enjoyed from me.
You wouldn't fear that, though? Because, you know, whenever you do something, the funniest thing in the world is people follow you. Sometimes they follow you just to hate you.
It's true. It's true.
So, you know,
it's true.
There's criticism that goes with the freedom that you're expressing.
Absolutely. Individuality always breeds.
So how are you dealing with that? Because you know it's going to be, oh, man, they you know, them thug Twitter, thug Twitter.
I think it comes back to you knowing who it is you want to be and knowing who it is you are. Because when you do know that, then the things that people say and the way that they misconstrue you, it becomes easier for you to say, you know what, those aren't the people that I'm focused on. I'm focused on the people that do understand where I'm coming from. Right. Because there are other people that will say, you know, I imagine you to be an Oscar-winning Angela Bassett type of character. Well, first of all, Angela Bassett's 30 years older than me, probably. I mean, she's very young and beautiful. You can't tell. You know what I'm saying? But she's much older than me. Yeah. And who says that I can't still be an Oscar-winning actress?
That's right.
In my generation for the young millennials. Yeah. Right. So a lot of times people's concepts are so outdated that they think you can only exist in one facet and not both. And that's just not the world I live in. I live in the world where I look at Will Smith, who was a rapper, then an actor, then action figure. I mean, he's done every little different thing. Queen Latifah, jazz, hip hop, rap, production company. You know, I'm looking at people that I feel like are making me see that being multifaceted is a possible and real thing. That's right. You know.
Have you ever went too far on social media and your mom or somebody who loved you said, hey, I love you, but you went too far today. Could you take that down?
Let me think about it. You know, my mom and dad never ever feel like anything I do is going too far. But sometimes my friends will be like, because when I do my gag, sometimes my friends will know who the people is on the gag. And they'll be like, Keke, now there's no way you had to do that. I'm like, don't nobody else know. I'm the only one that knows who the person of the gag is, and you only know because you're my friend, but nobody else knows who the person is but the person. And I hope they enjoyed. Good luck.
Okay, so did they call you? Have they called you and said, hey, miss, I know you were talking about me. You shouldn't have been talking about me.
No one has done that. You know why? Because it puts it out in the front street. People will much more rather pretend that it wasn't them.
You ain't
that
talking
they
about
didn't
me.
See. Exactly.
How did the gag start?
Okay.
Because these two right here, they can name them how they happened, like they just happened yesterday. I'm like, okay, kids, calm down.
So that's slang terms such as gag or Vogue and all that stuff. It actually originated from drag ball scene, but that's not where I originally got it from. Where I got it from was I was working on a movie called Pimp that actually is getting ready to go to going to Tribeca Film Festival next month. Lee Daniels is also executive producing it, so I'm very excited about that. But anyway, I was working on this project, and the wardrobe stylist, she would always say that's the gag. Like, I would be telling her a story. I was like, I couldn't believe it. So-and-so said this, and I'm like, really? And she said, well, girl, that's the gag. And I'm like, what is this about? Like, every time I would say any type of anything and be like, but this is really what was going on. And she would say, that's the gag, honey. And I'm just like, I love this gag thing. Like, what is she doing?
So that's
with
why
this?
you always do it kind of theatrical, right? Because you got to,
because I'm creating this story, and I just started to create in my mind a cool, funny way. And I would do it on my Snapchat, and people would always be commenting on it. So then from there, I just say, okay, I'm really going to just have fun with this whole thing. And I would start expressing things that was annoying me in my life, and I'll put a gag on it because that's what she was doing. So I was like, okay, you know what? I was talking to a guy the other day, and he thought he had me. But the gag is, I already had him. It's like, you already, it's just
it
so
works.
silly. Yeah.
It works. I ain't mad at it. I'm not mad at it. It works. I just think it's great. I think Jazz, you've been quiet the whole time. Why are you so quiet? You got dressed for her, so at least say something.
Hair's all fluffed out, cute.
Listen,
Yeah,
I
look at
always
her.
be talking about my hotation in here.
Oh,
Okay?
God, really?
Baby,
All right, I'm leaving the
Listen,
show.
ladies, we have our own hotation as well.
of course,
So,
yeah.
I don't want to hear this.
You are a pimp, or would you consider
You do
someone
not have a
mad?
hotation. You do not have a
that's
hotation.
a specific term, but there's millions of different terms of it. This is the one that she chose and picked.
Exactly. So how do you handle your hotation? I know you got it in line.
Okay, explain to me exactly what you mean, like the guys that I choose today,
That's her rotation of men. She has them on a rotation of about 5. That she
Oh,
runs
okay, yeah.
through.
Well, if
She
you're
has a
lucky, you
rotation.
can get about that many. So
3 are in
she's got it
Two
going
are
on. She's got it going on.
The gag is.
So the gag is. So the reality of the young women of our day, we realize that you don't have you can date multiple people as long as you're being honest with everyone. I'm big on the honesty factor. Again, I'm not a pimp or a player. I'm a Mac. So it's about being truthful to those whom you are in dealings with.
Hold on. When you're saying that, people will say that Keke, she's a hoe because she's been with this guy.
Yeah. Because when you say you have a hotation, it sounds fast.
And
Yeah,
do
but
you get offended?
it sounds fast. I'm dead at it sounds fast. Like we in the 5th grade. You sound like you
I have
did
to
that.
say, I have to be the father here. It sounds fast, honey. It sounds fast.
But you know why?
Bring it back.
It sounds fast because honestly, it's misogyny. You know what I'm saying? Because why, if somebody is single, why do they have to be faithful to just one person?
Oh, Lord.
That's what I say,
and of course,
but-
you're not being. There are levels to it. Like she said, every guy she doesn't feel the same way about. There's just the same way that every girl you don't feel that same way about. There may be a girl you love,
Listen,
one
Keke
you
and
like,
Young
like
Jazz.
hanging out with. You have just like you have
I
different
ain't
types
giving you
of
no
friends.
dap on that. I'm not co-signing
I'm very good at
this.
articulating myself.
I'm not co-signing this.
I'm here for this.
When I hear hotation, I'm thinking that this woman, you, Jazz, you're sleeping with all these folks in your hotation.
But it's not like that.
I'm the leader of the
I'm not like
rotation.
what?
Have you
I'm
not?
the leader of
He
the
hasn't seen the new show. He hasn't
hasn't.
seen the new show. She's Gotta Have It.
Oh, no. Actually, we both watched it together in here. We talked about it every morning. He was not here for it. Once
I
he
see her
started-
hotation.
No.
I seen the original because I'm a little older than
I
you
love
guys.
Nola.
And
I really love the new one too. I'm not no disrespect to the new one. The new one was definitely off the charts. Loved it. But I really also love the original.
I love the original. Here's what I don't like about the new one. Then we got to get back to talking about Keke. I think they made her weaker. It started off with her being very strong, and then all of a sudden it seemed like she became weaker. And I don't know why that bothered me because I like to see strong women on.
Well, because Nola in the and that could have been a particular choice,
Right.
to try to give a different version of what we
Right.
saw in the
I
old one.
feel
But I totally agree and understand what you mean by that because I did feel like there was a fierceness about the original Nola Dar that made me just feel like, girl, can't nobody shake you, rock you, get you. And the other one, they did show different dynamics in that sense of trying to see that maybe that did rock her, maybe maybe it bothered you because deep down,
here we go.
deep down, that women know how to be in control of who it is they want to be and who they want to deal with.
I liked it because it was the
And you didn't like that they tried to make it seem like she was shaken up by it because the original Nola wasn't shaking.
She wasn't. I like that. And even the first episode, it started off with this Nola really, really strong, and then it kind of like watered her down a little bit.
Yeah,
that
I totally
part
see
I
what you
did
mean.
not. I did not like that. I want to see her strong. I want to see her fierce. Every episode, though.
Look at you. Look at you. He understands, girl.
But I think that it added that
I still don't
aspect.
understand y'all rotation. But y'all the leaders of your rotation. It doesn't mean that you're sleeping
That's why
around.
you have to
So
call
I
it a Mac.
understand-
Call me the Mac.
Should I
That's why
change my term, Keke?
you gotta change it because that term immediately spooks people. Gotta
They
change
gotta be
it.
shook though. It's the day of getting shook. You know what I'm saying? They need to know the truth. And
I do
be
love
real
getting
with it.
people shook.
Oh,
Man,
boy.
this is the first interview I ever see her engaged in. God, dog.
You guys gotta get some new guests.
We'll start kicking them out now. Kiki. You know what? Jazz is not engaged. Please leave. So we'll start doing it. Kiki, you got some other stuff going on, and we can talk about everything else too. But I do want to talk about your business at hand. One, you're on a new TV show.
Yes.
So talk about that a little bit. Tell us about that.
So I'm working on Star. I was telling you guys before that I met Lee Daniels working on my project Pimp. And I told him, I was like, my fans keep tweeting me. They keep saying they want me to be on the show Star. Either they want me to be on Star or Empire. But I really love Star because it kind of reminds me like a mature Cheetah Girls or dramatic Cheetah Girls type of thing. So I was like, I really would love to work on that show. And he's like, well, let's get it down. Let's make it happen. So they end up creating this character, Gigi Nixon, who's very, like, talk about the gag is she's like that 20 times over. So she's
Wow.
Yes, she's
That's
very
deep.
she's very, very dramatic, very diva-esque. And she's this new, independent recording artist trying to see if she wants to be with Midtown Records, all this type of stuff. So it was a really cool opportunity I felt for me to be able to do my singing, my dancing, and my acting, which I love when I get to put that together. I feel like I'm like doing an old MGM type of project or something. So I was very excited about that. And really what's cool is I've been working on my album, The Boss, and I recorded this song, Bossy, and I just was like, you know what? I think this record will be amazing for a Star. Me and Lee have been talking about me recording a song on there and, performing it on the show. And I was like, I know this ain't no song that they sent me, but maybe I can, send it to Lee.
Was it for you originally, just for your side
Yes,
project?
it's just for
And
my
then-
album.
So it had nothing to do with the show at first, but
No.
So you let Lee hear, and he was like, you know what? Make it part of the show.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I could not believe it. And
That's
so
cool.
shout out to Sean Bankhead, did amazing choreography on it, and I performed on the show, and it's premiering on the 28th.
Oh,
This is the
man.
video when you went V-Live, right?
Yep.
Turning up. I saw
Yes,
it.
can you believe they went that hardcore? I was like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, Fox, we're going places with this. Okay? Because they had me in the strip club. We was like, what?
You funny.
I'm a fool, man.
Well, good luck on that. And then the song, let's talk about the Boss.
Yes.
It's a little spicy.
It is definitely hood and a bullshit.
So where's the inspiration for this coming from?
So the inspiration is all about this era of me. I put out an EP about a year and a half ago called Lauren, and that was more about the stripped down version of me. It definitely had flavor and sauce to it. I was talking about my sexuality, talking about what type of woman I feel I'm growing into, and how it is sometimes to not be able to relate in my career and being busy, all this little type of stuff. But more so about me, Lauren. That's my first name and who I am on the inside. Whereas this new album, The Boss, is all about kind of Keke Palmer, that brand, that extra personality. This person that you guys have seen me grow into becoming. And to the point of building my own label. Big Bosses Entertainment.
Go do your thing, girl.
Yes, shout out to Paris Johnson, my partner and my manager. And Bossy was developed out of this whole era. I was working with Tasha Couture, a guy by the name of Queso, Alex Spins, DJ Spins, Trill, a bunch of different people. Shout out to Soul. And we were working, and they ended up giving me this record, Bossy. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening to this record. I'm like, okay, I'm rocking with it. It's cool.
Give us a little bit. How it go? How it
Okay,
go?
so I'm gonna give you the hook.
Okay.
Hood and I'm bougie.
Right.
Gucci on my booty. Popping like a toolie. You ain't popping, need to cool it. Just cashed out with my jeweler while you stuck here looking stupid. I'm winning while they losing. Get your cause he choosing. And you know it's the Mac. Cause he's, get him because he's choosing me, not you. And I just loved it once I recorded it because once I put my voice on, so you can hear something, it can be cool. But when you put your personality on it,
I
it
like
really
it.
comes to life.
I ain't gonna
Thank
lie.
you so
I like
much.
it, for real. I'm not even messing with you. I really, really like it.
Thank you.
I'm like, ooh, she's letting you know I'm grown now and I'm not holding back.
I'm exactly, and that's really what
Every
I
once
feel.
in a while, though, I still catch myself like, man, okay, she's grown up now. You're not her father. You got to let it go.
No, but let me tell
her
you,
grow.
everybody be thinking they my father, my uncle.
Yeah.
It
They're kind of
happens.
protective over you,
Yeah.
you know. So we have you in a particular place, but obviously she has you in another place.
Cause she knows I'm sister girl.
I know, girl.
Oh,
Please work. Yes.
Oh, God.
I'm very excited about this new project because I have a bunch of different stuff. This is one facet. Bossy is one area of what this project is about. But I've got some great slow records, mid tempos. But it's definitely mostly up because that's one thing about me is I'm no matter what type of subject I'm talking about, I could be talking about something very sad and I'm still gonna bring a lightness to it because at the end of the day, that's what you have to do. I'm a very bright kind of person, so you definitely can expect to be rocking and vibing out to this album.
Any guest appearances on the album?
Yes, I got some with the Migos, and I also have
The
a record.
Migos.
Yes,
Wow.
Migos.
You saw their last video?
Loved it.
That was crazy.
Can you believe the way that Offset was dancing like that?
Oh my God, he was
I
off
was
the
so
chain.
He was off the chain. I'm so happy when people show all their different
Right.
abilities.
Did he not look like Uncle Bobby from the Proud Family? Yes or no?
Oh yes, he did. Bobby, I love that. Oh my gosh, I love the Proud Family. I miss that show.
So you working with them? Who else?
Yes, working with them, TK Kravitz.
Okay.
And we'll see. The album is pretty much done, but I'm still doing music. So if I end up doing a collab with someone else, and
How do you
want
juggle
somebody-
all this? You got albums,
Man.
you got movies, you got TV shows, you're trying to do your own record label. You're juggling a lot there, and then you still got to have a personal life as well, or maybe you don't. I
And
don't
the
know.
personal life is the one that struggles the most. Oh God
Why?
bless my heart.
Why? You're
You know
Keke
why?
Palmer, girl.
Because it struggles only because what he was saying, I always put work so above so many different things.
That's because you just haven't met the right guy.
Hold on,
Because
Jay.
people put stuff. That's only.
I didn't know we was gonna have I didn't know we was gonna have a doctor in here
because
this
people
people
morning.
Steve
always
Harvey,
say
yeah.
that. I got so much this. I got so much that.
you
And then that right person walks into their life, and then
Hold up,
you got
J-Man.
plenty of time right now.
Oh,
Keke used to be so busy.
Oh.
But look at over there chilling with Bob or Frank or who else.
I'm dead at Bob or Frank. Why couldn't it be Devontae? Why couldn't it be Rashad?
how about that, man?
Maybe so.
Okay, all right.
But I'm
You know
sure
what?
you don't have no
I-
problem, do you?
I do understand what he means to a certain extent, but I will say for me, I think that I don't know. I think I am very guarded. My parents. My mom
I don't
always
take that
spooked
from
me as a
you.
kid.
I don't take guarded from you. You seem to be
Why?
able to put it all. I just feel like
Me
she puts
either.
it all up there.
'Cause y'all
with
don't
all
know.
with all your
Y'all don't know
flaws,
what's going behind
you
the
embrace
scenes.
all of your flaws. Most people don't. You do. You embrace them all. You put it all out there. So before somebody can attack you on it, you've already like, hey, I know what it is, but I still love me. I still feel beautiful. So whatever your issue is, that's on you.
It's so true.
So I don't see you being.
You know what?
Right.
I think my guardedness you won't see until you try to penetrate.
Get through.
Not like
I get
that.
you.
Until
Honestly,
try-
we got you, girl. We
until
got
you try to get through, because even sometimes I myself feel I feel as if I trick myself into thinking that I'm more open than I actually am. Until someone really does try to get in, I'm like, what you doing? What you know what I mean? Like, you don't know me. And I come from this place where it's just like, my mom really raised me to be so strong and so independent that it almost becomes a thing where it's like, I don't need you. You know what I mean?
I get it.
But at the same time, I think that there's such a beautiful thing in that, because if I do want you in my life, it's because I want you, not because I need you, which I think is powerful too. But, to your point, it might just be about having met the right guy, having met the right person, because, I'm only 24. I'll be 25 this year, so you never know.
Virgo sister, I'm with you. 24.
Yeah, no wonder she's so brilliant and
You
beautiful
never are
and
connecting.
gorgeous.
We don't know.
It's because she's a Virgo. And she's got the same birthday as my mother. It's very
2
impressive.
days after Beyonce. We usually do a joint thing together. This year it might be a little different. The tour isn't going to be involved.
Oh God.
So when the last time somebody hurt you? Have you been hurt? Has
Oh my
Keke
gosh,
been
yeah.
hurt?
Oh yes. The
I can't believe you just asked her that. When's the last time she was hurt?
Because I want to know.
Really?
These are the things.
You want to know? I've never heard you ask somebody. So Keke, tell us when somebody broke your freaking heart.
Because
I mean,
some
it's happened to
people
me a couple
probably
times.
think that her heart can't get broken.
She a human being. Okay.
Oh
let
no,
me
yeah,
shut
my
up.
heart can get broken. I've had my heart broken before for different reasons.
And how did you deal with it, being Keke Palmer? How does a superstar deal with stuff like that?
I think ego plays a lot into heartbreak. So I'll be honest, it does come from a place at times of, how could this person do this to me? So really, it the first time I kind of got my heart broken, it really spawned me into a place of doing a lot of introspection and self-development, because it's like, why did you allow this to hurt you so bad? Somebody wasn't interested in you, or somebody didn't want to be with you. What's so bad about that? Why do you think that you need to be with that person? Maybe that person is just much not for you as they felt you weren't for them. And so it takes a lot of detaching from your identity and thinking, everybody should want me, or I'm this or I'm that. You grow up and it's like, you're the good girl, you're the wifey type, or you're this thing, and somebody denies you or somebody doesn't give you what you want, and then all of a sudden you're shattered. But you're not shattered because of that person. You're shattered because of you thought you were supposed to be able to do this and that, and everybody's supposed to always follow.
This sounds not like a 24-year-old person talking. You sound like a very seasoned person talking to their own 24-year-old daughter. For real, y'all don't think so? That sounded very mature. Not saying she's mature, but I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound like what some 24-year-old would say, but okay.
Oh my gosh. It just comes from me being so analytical, I think, in my career. Because I can be immature and mature, but in times of being introspective of myself, because I always am trying to study myself, I become very good at that because I always had to study characters growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always studying people's motives and intentions and why this character decided to say that line to this person and why they felt that way. So I became very good at understanding humans and kind of like their emotions just because I studied them all the time.
Speaking of that, then, when was the last time you misjudged somebody? Like, you was like, you know what? I thought this person was going to be that, but they're this. Have you ever let somebody in your life that, you know what, maybe I shouldn't let them in my life?
Oh, yeah, that's happened before. I've misjudged people, but I'm trying to think about a specific situation that I could really, kind of go off of. But, I think that there's been times where I've misjudged people because I do believe in giving chances. So I do believe in feeling like, even if I think, I don't know about this person, I don't know about this cat, I'm still going to give them a chance just to see and allow them to, kind of, in a lack of better words, hang themselves. So in those kind of situations, I don't feel bad. I say, well, I gave you a shot.
Mhm.
You blew it, and that is what it is.
You only get one time with you? Or can I hurt you like 2 or 3 times?
Depends on.
Are you asking for somebody?
No, I'm
Do
just
you know
asking.
somebody?
No, I'm just asking.
Oh, okay.
Because,
I guess they need to know.
It
Okay.
depends,
You know
how
you-
deep the cut goes.
Mm.
It depends how deep the cut goes. Somebody could just barely stab you in the back, and somebody could really stab you in the back. And so it's like, if it goes too deep, then it's like, I'm dead.
Wow.
I'm bleeding love.
Yeah, I feel you. Okay, crazy. I want you to think in the future.
Okay.
You're 24. You've already accomplished way more than the average human being. If you stop today, it was a great career. It was a great run, even if you stop today. Keke at 44 is what?
Keke at 44 has been doing a talk show for the last 20 years. She's been doing a talk show for the last 20 years. She is also runner of a label. She's the head runner of a label. Put you in the mind of somebody like a L.A. Reid type, in the style of a LaFace type label. So something that's very intimate but culturally, strong and holds a great foundation for the youth. She also is a mother. She's a mother of about 4 or 5.
4 or 5?
God, look at Jackson's face. She's a mother about 4 or 5, and she may or may not be married because I don't want to sign any contracts. But
What?
she have a partner of sorts.
So does he have to sign a prenup?
My mom had me spooked, right?
Uh-huh.
Because I was talking to her. I was like, I finally found a way around the contracts. I was like, I just won't get married. I'll have the whole ceremony. We'll have the kids, but we won't get, any contracts. She said, well, somebody can still sue you if you have kids with them. I'm just like, what?
That's the gang.
That's the gag.
That's the gag.
So then I started to get worried. And I just like, I don't know. I guess I'll have to sign a contract of some sort saying you can never get anything from me. I guess.
I'm amazed that she said that she might have 4 or 5 kids, but she might not have that particular one person in her life anymore.
That's how those millennials be thinking
Hold on,
these
Jay,
days.
man.
He's already been X'd out, but she got the one over 5 kids.
That's not what I said.
That's what that
It's
was the
out.
translate.
It's just that she
I don't
knows
want.
she wants
I don't want the
kids,
contracts.
and she don't know she wants the contract of marriage, but she knows she
Yes,
wants
but
kids.
I would like to have a partner along companion.
There's no order
But
to
I
the
don't want
steps.
this. I don't want this. I don't want this.
Quit acting like you understand everything
Oh, you
she's
better listen to
saying.
your mama, girl. You gonna get sued.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get around this whole suing, y'all. How do I get around this?
And back to the
I don't
talk
understand
show.
how people can get sued for kids that ain't even theirs these days. Like, how
So
can
it happens.
this is too much.
It happens. It's been
I just feel like anybody could sue you, and that's just not right.
happening. You said that.
When you
again.
said that, it made me think of something else. And I know we're just going back and forth.
That's okay.
But why haven't you got any, in Hollywood now, you can get you a new butt. You can get you.
Right, yeah.
You know what? That
I
is a
love
fair
talking about this
question.
type of stuff. I love
That's a fair question. You have not, to my knowledge, you have not done any of the enhancements, and
No.
it seems like from Instagram world and social media and all that, there is a pressure for
Young.
females, particularly young black females, that they need enhancements.
Yeah, and I'm
it
very
seems like
against it.
you seem to be comfortable in your skin. That's why I was saying that you seem to be very anti that. Not that you come down on anybody else. If that's what
Right,
you want to
because
do,
you
you
have
do
to,
you.
and it's such a fine line, right? Because like
Right.
I ain't trying to make nobody feel bad. You know, you do things, you know, whatever it may be. But to me, it's body dysmorphia on the biggest level, you know, and it really is a mental thing because no matter how many things you do and try to yourself, you're never going to be able to fix what the reason why you're not loving everything about yourself. So the more that you change and deform your body and cut and slice wherever, the further and further away you're going to get from actually accepting who you are. And so I really think it's a dangerous thing mentally on the young people to try to tell them that you need to change yourself in order to love yourself, when if you just love yourself, you don't want to change.
Keke
Oh,
Palmer
girl.
is not 24. She's
I see
lying.
that talk show. I see that talk show, man.
She's a 46-year-old woman. She just looks like she's in her 20s.
46.
I figured it out. I figured it out. She got y'all fooled, not me. Not an old player like me. Old Mac like myself.
You know what? He's let it out. He's let the truth surface.
I knew it.
Man.
No, that's incredible.
Thank you.
Listen to you. Wow, your parents have done. It's always cool to see when somebody's gone to Hollywood. That one, they're so down to earth, and that you can tell that their parents they were extra zoned in on their kid to make sure that they got the food that they needed so they can be the people that they turn out to be.
And my parents were very strict on who they allowed to be around me, where they allowed me to go. And as a kid, it really was hard for me as a kid. I felt so chained up sometimes. I'm just like, why don't y'all just, I don't go to real school. You know, you're on sets, and most of the time I'm on sets is with people older than me. Like, and you don't want to let me go here or do this. Or, you know, people would try to, other celebrity people would try to say, oh, let me take Keke here or there. And my parents were like, no, she's staying here. You know, and I would just always feel like, why y'all being like this to me? But as I got older, I'm like, wow, thank you. Thank
Well,
you
we hear
so
about
much.
a lot, especially with kid stars. You know, especially right now, you're hearing a lot of these stories about some of the strange stuff that was happening
Yes, for
with these
sure.
kids. And maybe they were just hypersensitive. Maybe they knew something, they felt something, and they knew that this was best for you. But you hear so many stories now about so many things happening and some of the odd stuff that's happening in Hollywood too. Is that affecting you or a lot of things that you've been seeing?
Well, you know, I haven't.
Because you know you got I'm talking about the
Me
Harvey
Too and
Weinstein
stuff like that.
all.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as a kid, that type of stuff I never encountered anything like that. Thank God. You know what I mean? Because that would have been really tough to experience as a kid, I would imagine. I have experienced sexual abuse, but not in the industry actually. And I talked about that in my book, Within My Family, which I think is something that happens a lot that people don't really talk about. You know, it's kind of
Hush.
Oh, yeah, hush, hush. But, you know, I think those kind of things sometimes do arrive in families with kids, not even just adults, but between kids that can be confusing and stuff. So I mentioned and speak a lot about that in my book. But in terms of the Hollywood industry, I never experienced anything of like a sexual harassment situation until I became an adult. You know, and I spoke out about it. And it was so funny when I spoke out about it, nobody really wanted to address it, but that same person is now being accused and something is happening. I don't know if it's because the person that accused them had a different skin color than me or what it could have been, but you know, I did mention that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know,
we won't mention any names here. If you go
Right.
back and do your research, you know what she's referring
But
to.
I believed you.
so, you know, that's the first time that I really experienced something that grand on that type of level, you know, where it was like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm very nervous. Like, I feel uncomfortable. Like, this is what being harassed feels like.
So how did you feel when all the backlash came? Because when you said that, people were like,
It's
she's
you.
lying.
Yes,
it's
you.
her.
It's you.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I mean, I believe you but
Because you
everybody
probably
else.
know the person. You know?
Yeah.
So, and I think people that did, they all did believe me within the industry. But, you know, a lot of times people don't know when they're not in the industry, or they think because someone's attractive that means that they want to be harassed by them. No, that has nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? I've known that person since I was a kid. So for me, it's like, this is not the kind of relationship that we have. So to be addressed and to be kind of feeling like you're taking advantage of the relationship and exploiting me, trying to exploit me in this way, it was just very upsetting. And more so upsetting in that sense than, I don't expect always the people that aren't in industry to understand those type of things that go down, or the
Right.
way that people feel like they can treat women in the industry because they're not in the industry and they don't know. And as far as they know, this is a heartthrob to them or somebody they love. So somebody trying to attack them is out or done.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, it was just kind of like, you know, whatever. And I did know in my mind because, you know, right is right, wrong is wrong. And what you reap, you will sow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
I hope you're right on that part right there, because I know some people that really need to.
everything done in the dark comes to the light, baby. I truly believe this.
I told y'all, Keke Palmer is not 24. She is 46. She's been lying to America. No,
She lying to America.
No, you got your stuff together, Keke.
Oh,
That's
thank
all I
you.
can tell you. I don't know what else to tell you. I would sit here and say continued success, but you already have that. You live success. You look successful. You wonderful. You beautiful. You all that, man.
Man, thank
You just made our morning, man. You made
Y'all
our morning, girl. You made
y'all
our
made my
morning.
morning. Y'all really did. I was tired as heck. I was like, I don't want to
you
see
was
these
young. You
people.
young and strong
Look,
when you
I don't
was
want to see
kids.
these people. I don't like these folks. But
Don't
y'all
worry, I
changed
say
my
the same.
mind.
Hey, look, I say the same thing when I see them every morning, but they change my mind every morning too.
Oh, no,
Thank
you guys
y'all.
have a great energy. This is a wonderful
Y'all
conversation.
all right.
Thank
Don't
you.
let Keke
Thank
get
you.
y'all pumped up. Y'all all right.
See, he keeps us down.
That's what you got to do. You gotta keep them down.
But wait, my favorite role that you ever played in was the TLC movie. You killed it, took it to a whole nother level, like all the life. Was that your favorite role that you played?
That was one. I mean, I really did enjoy that, but just from the point of view of being a huge TLC fan,
Yes.
I can be kind of biased to my own performances in sense of, it's hard for me sometimes to dive into them when I still look like that. You know, for Killing the Bee or something when I'm done younger, I can actually watch it and say that girl is funny. But when it's me and I look like that way now, it can be sometimes difficult. But I did love that movie. One of my favorite movies that I did as an adult, aside from Killing the Bee, would be Brotherly Love. Because I really just loved, I always wanted to be a part of that kind of, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's just a movie about these kids from Philadelphia. It's kind of like Shakespeare, like Romeo and Juliet type of thing, but it's told in the backdrop of Philadelphia. You know, these kids, brother sells drugs, you know, the sister is, you know, the cheerleader going to school, and it's a lot of different little things going on, but I just love the dynamics, and I really loved being able to be a part of something that was for the generation in that way. So that's one of my favorite films that I did too.
Will Keke Palmer write and direct at some point, or that's not really?
Definitely directing, because I often have a vision for something, but writing is very difficult. I tried to write my first project a little while back, and structuring the script and you know, finding how to create the arc and the storyboards and all that kind of stuff, it can be very difficult and overwhelming. A lot of people and people go to school for that to really learn how to do that. But I, you know, in my mind, I thought, you know, I've read a lot of scripts. There should be a way that I can be able to do this, and maybe one day I would be, or maybe I'll go to school. But I definitely know that I will direct one day because, you know, I have an eye for different things. You know, and it could be cool.
Keke, here's my last question, because you mentioned that you had a book. Excuse my ignorance. I don't know anything about the book.
So the book is called I Don't Belong to You, Quiet the Noise and Find Your Voice. And it's not really a memoir. It's more so using my life experiences, whether it be heartbreak or, you know, wanting love, or, you know, like I talk about the just growing up in the type of area I grew up in. I grew up in like a very poor community, and, you know, just talking about child-on-child molestation or sexual abuse in the household, or mental illnesses, anxiety, depression, and a lot of things that you don't get to know or learn about if you're growing up in a community that can't really afford to go to therapists, or the school systems aren't even educating them on what they may or may not be feeling, or, you know, growing into kind of understanding whatever confusions there may be. They don't have the outlets or the resources to really understand what that might be. So talking about a lot of that stuff, and then talking about my career, how to grind, you know, how I got to the place that I am, my relationship with my family, forgiveness with your loved ones, your family, because, you know, a lot of times you go through stuff with your mom and your dad, and I realized that that's kind of what Fences was about. You know, Fences was about learning from your parents' mistakes, not really feeling like you have to go down the same path they did, and recreating and kind of breaking those generational curses, whatever they might be. So I talk a lot about that in my book as well. And no, it's a lot of laughs. It's have emojis in it. It's very definitely like very youthful. Yeah, it's emojis in it. It's very youthful. But I cover a lot of you know, serious topics.
I'm gonna get the book.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the
You
book.
guys
He
gotta
gonna get
check
one
it
for
out.
everybody on the morning show, actually.
She always trying to spend up my money, bro.
Girl, go ahead. Looks like you almost seconds away.
Oh,
Get you a spot. No, I'm kidding.
oh wow. Keke, tell them your social media so everybody can follow you.
You guys gotta check me out at Keke. Get ready for that new The Boss album. Make sure y'all check out Bossy. And you know, look forward to Star. Got that coming out. MTV Screen. That's getting ready to come out next month. Shout out to Queen Latifah, amazing lady, great producer. Also, what I have a Pimp coming to the Tribeca Film Festival next month. And also check out my Twitter page, KekePalmer.
What else?
I like how you got the official Instagram. It's just at Keke. Like, that's so
You know what I'm saying,
that's
girl?
all, that's
I
all.
ain't
This is a
playing.
Side note, sidebar.
So, who's a good mentor to you? Oprah? You said Queen Latifah.
Queen Latifah.
She has given you a lot of info.
Absolutely. Queen
What's the
Latifah.
best advice Queen has given you?
You know what? It hasn't even been spoken. It's been shown. What Queen Latifah showed me was how important it is to uplift the other young entertainers coming up in the community, because that's all she's ever done.
Right.
You know, she's given me opportunities to raise my quotes, to get in a better position for this project or to give me a job when there weren't any. And that's just so unbelievable. You know what I mean? And that really helps to build, a bigger generation of young actors and entertainers. And she has not only done that for me, Terrence J, Outkast, the list goes on for different people that she's done that for. And Will Smith has also been a mentor to me, again, in the sense of showing me acknowledgement. These people did not have to do that, but I've looked up to for years. I remember I was doing True Jackson VP, and I was talking to my attorney at that time, who also had, worked with Will Smith as well. And I was talking to him about how I was starting to feel really just stressed and kind of depressed and boggled down by my job and working all the time and trying to just be a kid, but living in an adult way. And, I had just told him that. I was just talking to him. And next thing you know, I get a call from, this very weird number. It's has, more digits than one should. And I'm like, this is weird. I didn't answer it because I was just like, that's odd. And then it was a voicemail later that day. I heard it was like, Keke, this is Will. I'm out in Hong Kong right now with Jaden. We're doing Karate Kid. But I just want to call you and let you know, I talked a little bit to Ken. I want to let you know that, I've been there before, but you're gonna be all right. Keep focused, stay on everything, and understand that this is just a part of the journey. You're gonna get there. And I'm just like, Will, thank you, Will. And then for my 16th birthday, he made me a whole video when him and Jaden were in Hong Kong. And they sang me happy birthday. Drake.
Do you still get starstruck?
When it's somebody like Will. Absolutely.
Really? Okay.
Now it's not that way because I've seen him a bunch of times now and everything like that. But still, when he just liked one of my comments on Instagram and I was very gassed.
Really?
I was like, love you, Will. He liked it. I said, thank you. He loves me back. But, I still will get, there was a point in time where before I had met those kinds of people, before I had met the Wills or had met Beyonce or someone
How was
like
the meeting with Beyonce?
So I met Beyonce because I was actually giving her NAACP award for Dreamgirls.
Right.
And it was just very unbelievable because I'm just like, she's so tiny and she's just so cute and little. I think sometimes you'll think people are very, very tall or something like this. But she was shorter than me almost. You know what I mean? I was only 13 or 14 at that time. And it was me and Tyler James who played Chris on Everybody Hates Chris. And we, gave the Beyonce. And we was just like, yeah, we get to meet Beyonce. It was just really a dope moment. And she just was so beautiful. I remember thinking that, wow, you know what I'm saying? And I remember when I was younger, I had met Rihanna at the Kids' Choice Awards. And this was right after she had blown up, when she had first cut her, remember she had cut the bob and then she went super short. And everybody was like, she really cut her hair off now. And I remember seeing her, and I was like, I'm going to say something to her. I was probably 14, 15. And I walked up to her and she was like, oh, I love your movie, Akil and the Bee. I love your movie. I'm like, yes. That was so exciting. You know what I mean? I was like, I love you, Riri, And again, I just thought she was striking.
She got it down.
Yeah, she's like, I love your movie, Akila. It's very good. I'm like, oh. And I just remember thinking she's so tall. A lot of people don't realize how tall.
Yeah, she is.
Oh my gosh, she's got to be 6 feet or plus.
Really?
Amazon, a beautiful woman.
I did not know that. Wow.
I'm telling you, that's why them legs was driving people crazy on Umbrella. They didn't know that them legs was long, baby. Yeah, but again, it was just those kinds of moments I always remember. Now, I've seen these people, and so it's normal type of thing. But
you a superstar. It's just living that life. I get it, girl. I get it. I get it.
Okay, last question. So you're rich. So when
I'm dead.
So when did you know you really weren't rich? You go to somebody's house and you go, oh my God, I'm not doing it. Or you question yourself. You be like, I thought I was rich. I got a couple of million, but this person has, whew.
I'm trying to think about whose house.
Come on.
Because that's the thing people don't realize. There are so many different levels to quote unquote rich or wealthy. It's so many different levels to it.
Just give us one level.
Oh my gosh, who would
Come on, take us.
It would be either someplace like Tyler Perry's house.
Okay, how is it? Tell us.
Oh, Tyler Perry's house is just his house be looking like them rich people on his movies' houses. like a house you ain't never seen before, where you're just like, Tyler, did y'all build this just for this movie? Well, no, it'd be Tyler's house.
Really?
And then who else's house would I say? Something like that. It would be somebody like the head of Paramount.
Really? His
I've gone to those people's dinners and stuff like that, and I'm just like, whoa, this is crazy. But then people have different houses, because then somebody like Diddy, he has several of those houses. So he has one in LA, he has one in New York, he has one in Atlanta, he has a compound in Atlanta, he has one in Miami. So someone like him, I'm like, Diddy. It's getting too much. How do you keep housing the maintenance alone when you're not there for people to clean it? And he be making sure it's stocked for his kids when they come in, and it's like,
Wow.
it's crazy, yeah.
Where do you currently live now?
I live in Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Everybody goes to Atlanta.
Why'd you move to Atlanta?
You know, because the Hollywood thing, it was very hard to start separating my life from the industry, being in LA for so long.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just wanted to get a break, but it's hard to get a break from the industry when you work in the industry and then you live in the city where the industry is most booming.
Ah.
So I just I need to get a break. And also with my music, I need to get inspired by more different type of cultures and like different things that are going on. And Atlanta has everything. It has any type of industry going on there. Just like similar to New York, you know, where it has a lot of different things going on. But it also has that southern chill feel, so I can go duck off into the suburbs and be, you know, nobody.
Yeah.
So I enjoy
I
that.
feel you.
Wow.
It's spread out and stuff like that. You can go there and people might not even recognize that that's Keke because they won't even think that that's Keke. Man, that girl look like Keke.
People say it to me all the time in Atlanta, but like, anybody ever tell you like Keke Palmer? I'm like, yeah. Then I'm like, it's you. I could tell when you spoke. Which I find so interesting.
I am.
People really know my voice, and that's so crazy to me because I never thought that I had like a distinct voice or something.
Come on,
like this.
Keke.
Oh,
That's crazy.
Now you playing blonde actor.
Really?
No, people know. There's definitely no way to hide Keke Palmer.
Man, we gotta let you go because we could talk to you forever.
Oh my gosh!
All right, we gotta
you
let
guys
it
have
go.
great topics. Like I could talk here forever.
I mean, you've been talking to
We
hours
all
straight.
just really enjoying your vibe. I'm just,
same.
again, Keke Palmer's not 24, she is 46, and I want the world to know. I just have to,
Getting ready to have my 50th birthday.
No, it sounds crazy for me to say that, you know, continued success and all that, but really, you know what? You meet some people and you feel, it's not what you hear, it's what you feel. You know what I'm saying? And you feel a vibe, you're like, you know what? That person's really all right. You don't know anything about them, but you just feel the vibe, and I just feel the vibe. You my favorite girl. I love everything about you.
A double hug? I've never seen this on the Madd Hatta Morning Show.
I mean, because she's saying.
Yeah, I saved my hug.
And let me tell you this. I see so many people who come in the game and then they change. The game changes them. Yeah. And I've been knowing her personally since she was 14. And look at her now. She's still the same. Yeah. So if you see her in New York or if you see her in Atlanta, she'll still speak.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that is what we truly love about you.
Yep.
Man, thank you.
I can't talk what J Mac just said right there. You said it, man. Keke Palmer, y'all. Everything she on, everything she got, you go get it.